Okay, every pony, here comes the last short story for the day, because after the Cutie Mark Crusaders Buccaneers, I'm getting a headache from all this arr and gar. Okay, this time it is... 1 second. Sweetie Belle finds a box of matches by the exhausted Brony. Sweetie Belle finds a box of matches. Beauty on a stick. Sweetie Belle sprawled onto the kitchen floor and let out a big, lethargic sigh. It was the middle of the day, and Rarity instructed her to stay out of her way while she worked on a dress for a very important pony. "Geez, Rarity," Sweetie Belle groaned. "Why can't you be more like Pinkie Pie? There's nothing to do in this house." The young unicorn made any attempt to entertain herself in this otherwise dull, boring kitchen. The barrel rolled across the floor for about a minute. She moved the table and the chairs to different spots in the room. In the last-ditch effort, she began opening every cabinet, drawer, and container in the kitchen she could get her hoofs on. This actually brought a smile to her face. She had no idea what to expect from inside. She found every kind of cutlery you could imagine, made of several different kinds of materials. Metal, plastic, wood, even crystal. It felt like a treasure hunt. Sweetie Belle looked back to the slowly growing pile of utensils on the floor behind her. "Wow, this is so cool! What else does Rarity have?" Sweetie Belle scanned the room for any stones left unturned. Her eyes met with one still closed, and she walked over to it and slowly pulled the metal handle outwards. She peered inside the wooden treasure box and found another box. "Huh? What's this?" Sweetie Belle reached into the drawer and pulled out a small, rectangular cardboard box. She put it close to her ear and shook it. Another smile formed on the filly's face as she heard the contents of the box rattle inside. After carefully inspecting the box, she figured out how to open it. She pushed in on one side with her hoof and watched as the treasure within was revealed on the other side. Sweetie Belle looked to see a bunch of small sticks with red tips. She carefully tipped the box and let one of the sticks fall into her hoof. She said, holding the stick close to her face. "What is this?" Not being able to figure it out, she placed it back in the box and slid the open end shut. She flipped the box over and saw some writing that was printed on the bottom side. She cocked her head and began to read aloud. "Place red faith for us and on the match firmly against striker end of side box." Sweetie Belle took a match out and did as the instructions said and continued reading. "Quickly drag the match across the striker. Caution, flames burn upwards. Be mindful of positioning of active matches while holding." Sweetie Belle dragged the red tip across the side of the box and watched in awe as the chemicals sprang to life and created an orange light on the end of the stick. She watched as the flame slowly consumed the stick, gradually turning it black. Sweetie Belle rotated the match so it was pointed downwards. She then felt a painful sting sensation on her hoof and immediately dropped the match onto the floor. "Ow!" she yelped, surprised at the unexpected pain. Sweetie Belle rubbed her hoof in an attempt to alleviate the pain. Her eyes were drawn back towards the box and caused her eyes to sparkle. She picked up the box and pulled out another match. She lit it with ease and watched the little flame dance effortlessly. It was beautiful. Sweetie Belle found herself in a trance. She was enraptured by the magic, and her world shut out everything but her and the flame in her hoofs. "Sweetie Belle, I smell smoke. What are you doing?" A scream pulled the captivated filly out of her trance, as well as nearly giving her a heart attack. Being startled caused Sweetie Belle to drop the still-alight match onto the dish rack on the counter. Once again she found herself fixed on the rack as a dark ring formed around where the match had landed. It started as a light brown and then darkened quickly as the grey heat began to leave its mark on the fabric. Sweetie Belle heard the sound of her sister storming down the stairs. She snatched up the box in her teeth and quickly ran through the washroom out of the back door. She knew that Rarity would blow a fuse when she saw that she nearly set the house on fire. She figured that she'd just run off somewhere and lay low for a bit. Hopefully by the time she goes home, Rarity would have calmed down. The air was cold, and Sweetie Belle regretted not bringing a scarf, but it was probably wouldn't be a good idea to go back into the lion's den. Sweetie Belle ran to the stone bridge that spanned a creek near Fluttershy's cottage. She lowered herself down into the valley of the creek and nestled herself on a spot of dry land. She leaned back against the stone, relieved to be in a spot where she could take a breath. She closed her eyes and recalled the graceful dance of the flame. Once the flame died out in her mind, it quickly moved to when the match began to color the dish rack brown. She opened her eyes. "I wonder what elf I could shit on fire." Sweetie Belle looked down to see the matchbox still in her mouth. She spat it out into her hooves and took out a match and lit it. She opened her eyes. "I wonder what elf I could shit on fire." Sweetie Belle looked down to see the matchbox still in her mouth. She spat it out into her hooves and took out a match and lit it. She watched as the flame danced on the end of the stick until a sudden gust of wind blew it out. She looked out from her hiding space to see that the sun was going down. She shivered and regretted not taking the chance to go back into the lion's den for her scarf. She remembered the warmth of the flame and carefully lit another one. The tiny flame only managed to warm her muzzle. It was simply too small. To provide any real source of comfort, she needed something bigger. Something like a pile of leaves. That's it! Sweetie Belle remembered the sister camping trip she went on and somehow to probably start a fire. Sweetie Belle scraped together a small pile of dry leaves in front of her. She nodded, affirming herself for her ability to make a leaf pile. She pulled another match out of the box and lit it. Sweetie Belle carefully lowered the match down to the leaf pile and watched the flame lick the brown leaves. She shielded the flame with her empty hoof, and in a matter of seconds the leaves caught and a larger flame emerged. "Wow!" Sweetie Belle said in awe. "It's so nice and pretty." Sweetie Belle held her hoofs up to the flame. "It's so nice." Sweetie Belle relished in the warmth, and it brought her great joy for a short time. Seconds later, the flame ran out of leaves and to burn and went out. All that was left of the once beautiful fire was a string of white smoke rising from the ashes. "I need more. What else can I burn?" Sweetie Belle got up and crawled out from under the bridge. The moon was now visible in the night sky. The leaves crunched under her hoofs as she walked into town. "I've already set some of those on fire. I need something else this time. Something bigger." In the moonlight, Sweetie Belle's eyes caught a glimpse of a medium-sized tree. It swayed gently in the wind, and like a match, Sweetie Belle's face lit up with excitement. "That's perfect," she said, inspecting the tree from top to bottom. Sweetie Belle lit a match and held it up to the bark. Her smile quickly faded when she realized that the tiny flame would not be able to light the tree. This time she gathered a larger pile around the base of the tree and held a lit match up to it. The leaves quickly caught and created a roaring flame that licked the bark of the tree. Soon enough the trunk went up in flames. All over town, ponies were turning on their bedroom lights and poking their heads out of their windows, wondering what the commotion was. "Every pony's waking up to see my work. They all want to see the beauty that I created and mastered." Sweetie Belle took a deep inhale of the smell of burning nature, relishing every second of the odor. She was about to take another breath, but heard the all-too-familiar sound of her sister's loud scream. "Sweetie Belle, what are you doing?" Rarity screamed in confusion. Sweetie Belle turned to her sister and smiled. "Isn't it amazing? Look at it go! Do you have any idea what you have done?" "Creating something beautiful, just like you do," the filly said innocently. "I created something beautiful, but I couldn't just keep it to myself. I had to show every pony in Ponyville what I've done. So I set the tree on fire and every pony came to see it." Rarity was dumbfounded. She could tell that her sister was completely serious and that she was so proud of her work. However, she had no idea how to go about dealing with it. Her little sister has committed arson, but finding a way to explain to her that what she did was outright wrong was difficult. Rarity looked down at her sister and noticed something that wasn't there before. She blinked a few times, trying to make sure that she wasn't seeing things. What she saw didn't change. "Sweetie Belle, what is it? What is that on your flank?" Sweetie Belle looked back to see a fireball emblem emblazoned onto her flank. Oh my gosh! Oh my god! Cool! Sweetie Belle is a pyromaniac! Oh my god! Cool, cool! That's her special talent! Yeah, burn baby, burn! Burn Ponyville down! Oh my god! That's Sweetie Belle's special talent! Oh my god! Cool! This story was really good. I like it. Okay, sincerely yours, Visual Pony.